Today we're going to show you how to change a front axle on a Polaris RZR. We've got a RZR 800 in our shop today, but these same steps can be used to complete this job on the other RZR machines as well. It's important to get to know your machine before hitting the trails. Keeping up on regular maintenance and knowing how to perform common repairs is important when it comes to extending your riding time instead of getting stranded on the trail. If you're maintaining your machine and know how to perform the common repairs, you can pack the right parts and tools so when something does happen on the trail, you'll be prepared. Truth is, there are a few different ways to tackle this job, and we've got our machine's service manual which walks us through the process exactly. It's a good idea to get familiar with your machine's manual and its procedures. We found a few ways to make this job a little quicker, so in this video, we won't be following the manual exactly, but for the most part, this process is all the same. So to begin, we're going to start by just breaking loose each of the lug nuts. After we've done that, we need to get the tire off the ground. So today we're using our shop floor jack, but for the times when you're out on the trail, the Tusk UTV scissor jack works great for this. Now we can completely remove each of those lug nuts, and we can pull the tire as well. We're just going to sit that aside for now. After that, we'll take a pair of pliers and we're going to remove the cotter pin from the end of the axle. Next, we need someone to hold the brake pedal down, and that's going to allow us to loosen and remove the castle nut from the end of the axle. After that's been removed, we'll use a pick or a small screwdriver and pull the two cone washers from the axle as well. This is where we differ from the service manual a little bit. We're going to go ahead and loosen and remove the upper ball joint pinch bolt, and then we'll pull the upper ball joint from the bearing carrier. This machine's service manual recommends removing the caliper and then the hub before disconnecting the upper A-arm, but we found that the axle comes out easy enough without removing either of those. Some people will disconnect both the upper and the lower A-arms and then remove the axle that way, so there's a few different ways to do it like we said, as long as you get it back together the correct way. So from here we're going to swing the carrier assembly down and back, and then we'll carefully work the axle out of the hub. When you have the outer end free, just grab a hold of the axle shaft and we'll pull it from the front gear case. There's a small circlip that secures it into place, so it might take a little force to get that to come out. Now that we've got the axle out of the way, we're going to go back through and clean everything up. We're just using contact cleaner and a shop rag to do that. To install the new axle, it's a good idea to put little anti-seize onto the inner splines, and then we're going to line those splines up with the ones in the front gear case and go ahead and install the axle. It might take a couple hits with the rubber mallet to get it to slide up into place. From there, we're going to install the other end of the axle in through the bearing carrier and into the hub. Once we've got that in place, we can reinstall the upper ball joint and slide the bolt back through with the nut on the back side. And for this machine, we need to torque this ball joint pinch bolt to 23 foot-pounds. Now we can move out and slide both the cone washers on with the dome side of each washer facing out. And then we'll go ahead and thread the new castle nut onto the end of the axle. Again, we'll need someone to hold the brakes while we tighten and torque this machine's axle nut to 80 foot-pounds. Make sure that you have one of the holes in the axle lined up with one of the channels in the castle nut, and then install a new cotter pin. Now we can go ahead and put the tire back on the machine along with the 4 lug nuts. We're going to snug each of those lug nuts down, and then we'll sit the car back on the ground. Now we need to go back and torque each of the lug nuts down to 30 foot-pounds plus a quarter turn. And that completes the axle replacement on this RZR 800. If you have any questions about this job or your machine, refer to your service manual or call in and talk with one of our friendly customer service reps. Rocky Mountain ATV MC carries all the parts, accessories, and apparel for you and your side-by-side. Thanks for watching.